It was 2:17 in the morning when my phone suddenly vibrated on the nightstand. It wasn't a call. It wasn't a text message. It was just one single voice note. And the most disturbing part, the voice in that audio. It was mine. At first, I told myself it had to be an accident. Like a pocket dial. But a pocket recording. Maybe I'd recorded it earlier and just didn't remember. Or it was an old file that somehow got pushed to the top of my notifications. I was trying to rationalize it, to find any logical explanation because the alternative was just too unsettling to consider. But then I looked closer. I checked the timestamp on the voice note, and my heart just stopped cold in my chest. The message wasn't from yesterday or last week. It was from today. Recorded just 10 minutes ago. My hands started to shake as I slowly reached for my phone, my thumb hovering over the play button. I couldn't explain it, but a wave of absolute dread washed over me. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves, and pressed play. A crackle of static, and then a voice. It was undeniably my voice, but it was all wrong. It was shaky, terrified, broken up by these quiet, desperate sobs. It sounded like I was trying to whisper, but someone was forcing me to speak, pushing the words out of my throat. And what the voice said sent a chill down my spine that reached all the way to my bones. It whispered, "If you're listening to this, please don't open the door." The audio cut out, leaving me in complete silence. My own panicked breathing the only sound in the dark room. I stared at my bedroom door, my mind racing. Don't open the door. Why would I say that? What was I so afraid of? My apartment was locked. I was alone. There was no one else here. Was I sleepwalking? Did I record this in my sleep? The questions swirled in my head, each one more terrifying than the last. And right at that moment, as if summoned by my own fear, there was a knock. It came from my bedroom door. Knock. 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 Each one was slow, deliberate, careful. It wasn't a frantic banging. It was patient, methodical. Like whatever was on the other side knew I was in here, and it was just waiting. My blood ran cold. I froze, not daring to make a sound, not daring to even breathe too loudly. My eyes were glued to the door, expecting the handle to turn at any second. Just then, my phone vibrated again in my trembling hand. I glanced down, my heart pounding against my ribs like a drum. Another voice note, from the same unknown number. This time, I didn't hesitate. I pressed play immediately, desperate for any kind of explanation. The voice, my voice, was clearer this time, more urgent. The crying had stopped, replaced by a desperate intensity. It said, "It can copy your voice. It will try to call you." And then, from the other side of the door, I heard it, a voice that was so familiar it made my skin crawl. "Open the door. It's me." It was my voice. Perfectly replicated, tesamito in the same inflection I would use if I were trying to sound friendly and reassuring. Perfectly replicated. Tesamito in the same inflection I would use if I were trying to sound friendly and reassuring. But I was here, in the room. And that thing was out there. It knew my voice. It was using my own voice against me. A key to unlock the door and get to me. I clamped my hand over my mouth to stifle a scream. The knocking started again. A little louder this time. More insistent. "Come on," my voice called from the hallway. "I just want to talk. Let me in." It was a horrifying, surreal nightmare. I was trapped in my own room, being hunted by myself. My heart was pounding so loudly I was convinced it could hear me through the wood. Every beat felt like a thunderclap in the suffocating silence. I needed to move, to do something. Anything got there. Then just sitting here waiting for it to break down the door, I slowly, carefully got out of bed, making sure my feet made no sound on the floorboards. My eyes were still locked on the door as I backed away, moving toward the other side of the room where my full-length mirror stood against the wall. I don't know why. I looked. Maybe it was a primal instinct, a need to see my own face, to reassure myself that I was still me. But what I saw in the reflection made my blood turn to ice. In the mirror, my reflection was smiling, a wide gum, unnerving smile. But in reality, I wasn't smiling at all. My face was a mask of pure terror, my body shaking uncontrollably. The reflection, my other self in the glass, slowly raised its hand, and it gently tapped on the mirror from the inside. Tap, tap, tap its smiling eyes. Never left mine. It was like looking at a predator that had me cornered. The person in the mirror was calm, in control, while I was falling apart. My phone vibrated a third time, snapping me out of my trance. The notification lit up the screen. Another voice note. My fingers fumbled as I opened it. This message was short, blunt, and absolutely devastating. It contained only one sentence, whispered with a final, chilling clarity. You're not the real one. That's when it all came crashing down. A memory, buried deep and pushed away, resurfaced with sickening force. A few weeks ago, I had gone exploring for content for my channel. An old, abandoned house on the edge of town. It had a reputation. Locals told stories about it. Weird whispers of people who went in and came out. Different. There was one room in particular they all warned me about. An empty room with a single, cracked mirror on the wall. The warning echoed in my mind. Crystal clear now, they said. If you hear your own voice inside that house, understand this. You didn't come back alone. I remembered standing in that room. I remembered hearing a faint whisper that sounded just like me. I had dismissed it as the wind, as my imagination. But I hadn't come back alone. I had brought something back with me. Or it had brought me back with it. The question hit me like a physical blow. Which one was I? Was I the one cowering in the bedroom? Or was I the one smiling in the mirror? The one knocking on the door? The whisper from the phone, Yuri, not the real one. Was it a warning? Or was it a taunt? The thought was maddening. As I stood there, paralyzed by this existential horror, a soft click echoed through the room. The lock on my bedroom door turned. By itself, the door began to swing open with a slow, agonizing creak, revealing the dark hallway beyond. And standing there in the doorway was my copy, my doppelganger. It was me. The same face, the same hair, the same clothes I was wearing right now. But its eyes were wrong. They were empty, hollow, completely lifeless. It was like looking at a doll. It smiled that same serene, terrifying smile from the mirror, and it spoke in my voice. Thank you, it said, its voice smooth and calm. Now it's my turn. And then, before I could even scream, everything went completely and utterly black. When my family saw me the next morning, I seemed perfectly normal. I was smiling, laughing, making breakfast just like any other day. Perfectly fine. They said I seemed happier, more relaxed than I had been in weeks. They didn't notice this slight emptiness in my eyes. They didn't notice that my smile never quite reached them. They just saw what they wanted to see. They saw me. But even now, when I'm alone in my room, late at night, strange things happen. My phone will light up, and it records voice notes all by itself. I never touch it. I never open the app. But the recordings are always there. And when I listen to them, in the dead of night, I can hear a familiar voice. A shaky, terrified whisper. My own voice, trapped somewhere in the dark, crying. And it always says the same thing. If you're listening to this, please don't open the door. So if tonight you're alone in your house and you hear a sound, a whisper that sounds just like you, or you get a call from your own number, just remember this story. It might be you, or it might not. Thanks for watching. Sleep well.